Hello everyone, it is Shadows. I'm here with Shadow Gaming, here to present to you guys some more League of Legends updates. This just came out the 28th of December, or 28th of February at about 10 o'clock? Or, yeah, about, let's see, no, 9 o'clock Pacific time, 9 p.m. Pacific, I believe. Let's see, that's 3 hours. Yeah, about 9:13 p.m. Pacific time on February 28th, 2013. It's the 3.0.3 patch notes, pretty much, for League of Legends. I'm gonna go over a lot of the big changes, not a lot of the little ones, like, actually I'll just go over all the changes to the champions and the pretty much three biggest items that they changed. And something else too. They did summarize what happened here in this patch in the patch preview, which I'll go ahead and link to you guys in the, in an annotation somewhere on the screen. It might pop up, on the left hand side, the right hand side. I don't know where it's going to pop up. I'll decide, obviously, when I put the video up. But anyway, let's just go over these changes. So, Amumu, they wanted to change Amumu's crowd control abilities and not make him so bursty. So here's what they did. They reduced the bandage toss damage to 80, 130, 180, 230, 280 from 80, 140, 200, 260, 320. Overall, that is a 40 damage nerf at maximum level. At the first level, it's the same damage, and then 10, 10, 20, 30, 40. Yeah, so every level it's increased by 10. So 130 to 140 it's 10, 180 to 200 it's 20, so on and so forth. And the Curse of the Sad Mummy radius reduced to 550 from 600. Again, allows him to not get as much CC and not be as bursty. They did this with. Let's move on to, Ashe, because I don't want to sit, stand all night on one champion. Ashe and Tristana got the same change. Their attack speed per level increased to 4%. Ashe from 3.34% to 4%, and Tristana from 3.01, I believe? Yeah, 3.01% to 4%, making them just bigger threats late game. Darius. His Noxian Guillotine it got nerfed a little bit, but not too much. So Noxian Guillotine, when it kills a target, it can be recast within the next 12 seconds, and can occur on multiple successions. But its cooldown has been adjusted to 120, 180 seconds from 80 or from 100 at all ranks. So, earlier levels it has a shorter cooldown, earlier levels, longer cooldown, higher levels, shorter cooldown. That's pretty much the gist right there. Fiddlesticks, just several Fiddlesticks' visual effects have been updated, not a big deal on that one. Garen, he no longer gets... Yeah, Garen, we've slightly reduced Garen's resilience as he no longer gains bonus armor and magic resist from his base stats. Garen will lose between 4 and 14 armor and magic resist depending on his levels. Alright, so that means he's just a smidge, just a bare smidge less tanky, but one of the changes they did to him will negate that change. One of the biggest changes right here, Perseverance. His heal was base heal, or his passive rather, reduced to 0.4% maximum health versus 0.5. Not a huge nerf, but it was a well-needed nerf. It's not too big, and it's a just right nerf. Decisive Strike. Fixed a bug where the cast time was faster than intended. Okay, not a big deal. Courage. Passive adjusted to now increase bonus armor magic resist from items, runes, or masteries by 20% instead of total armor magic resist being increased by 20%. So pretty much his courage now circumvents the nerf to his, to gain bonus armor and magic resist depending on his base stats. That's all. That means, Merc treads and stuff like that will have a greater effect on his courage. Demacia and Justice fixed a bug where the cast time was faster than intended. Okay, bug fixes, not a big deal. Hecarim, they smoothed out his early game jungle while reducing his late game survivability in teamfights. Literally, he actually almost never died unless you had, really high burst and could kill him really quick, or you had a Blade of the Rune King. But anyway, Rampage, damage increased to 60, 95, 130, 165, 200 from 50, 85, 120, 155, 190. Again, it allows him to jungle just that much quicker, but the next ability, Spirit of Dread, it allows him to not survive as long. Healing adjusted to 20% at all ranks from 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. So once he gets Spirit of Dread level 3, it's now the same as it was before the patch came in. And then it just scales higher, it scales to 30% at later levels. Cooldown increased to 20, 18.5, 17, 15.5, and 14 seconds from 14 at all ranks. Again, his early game survivability is lessened, but his end game is just where it was, almost. And Spirit of Dread fixed a bug where Spirit of Dread was stating it dealt more damage than it actually was. So just a tooltip rework, I believe. Janna, Monsoon, mana cost reduced to 100, 150, 200, from 150, 225, 300. So overall 75 mana per level nerf. Or about. It's not exactly 75, but you guys get the deal. She can now cast Monsoon and her other abilities more often. Obviously you still have cooldowns to take into effect, but it's more so that when she casts Monsoon, her mana pool's not fully depleted. That's really the biggest thing. Kassadin. We've made Netherblade consistent against all structures. As an already effective mobile assassin, Kassadin does not need unnecessary pushing power. Netherblade. Pretty much they fixed a bug where Muramana was doing more damage than intended when he, triggered Netherblade. Fixed a bug where Kassadin's basic attacks with Netherblade active triggered Muramana's active damage more than once. Again, that was a lot of bursts coming in from Kassadin for no reason. Netherblade active no longer deals damage to inhibitors or the Nexus. Again, no unnecessary pushing power because he's very mobile. Kayle. She no longer gets magic resist per level. Alright, whatever, that's fine. Reckoning. This is the biggest thing they changed with her. It no longer amplifies damage while the target is slowed. Alright, that's fine. But one of the things that they increased, which is right underneath it, now applies a stack of Holy Fervor to the target, kind of negates it no longer amplifying the damage because it still does amplify the damage. But it does it in a different way. The slow duration reduced to 3 seconds from 4. The slow amount adjusted to 30 or 35, 40, 45, 15, 55% from 30% of all ranks. So first rank, same slow speed. And then after that it's a very higher slow. Max level to 55%, so that's pretty huge. And the missile speed increased to 150 or 1500 from 1300. Again, that's all fun and dandy. That allows her to cast it at a greater distance and still be pretty safe with it. Sorry, throat's a little scratchy. Nidalee. These changes clarify Cougar Form's intended strengths of high damage and high mobility rather than durability. She also no longer gains magic resist per level. Okay, fine. That's good. She was a little too tanky as it was. Swipe AP ratio increased to 0.6 from 0.4. So she just deals a little more damage in Cougar form with Swipe. Whatever. Aspect of the Cougar no longer grants bonus armor or magic resist. This right here, that whole line, that was needed. Very much needed. I can't tell you how many times I've seen Nidalee just escape with about 4,000 health. You know, because she just doesn't take damage in Cougar form. Like, the hell is that? She had too much armor and too much magic resist. Even if she didn't build those items, she'd still had too much in Cougar form. That was just a well-needed nerf, in my opinion. Rennington. Ruthless Predator. Fix a bug where Ruthless Predator was unable to critically strike on any of the attacks. Ruthless Predator can now critically strike on the first attack. Alright, so they fixed a bug with him. Taric. These changes provide opponents with early lane counterplay to Taric by reducing the amount of passive armor granted by Shatter. In return, though, Taric is gaining meaningful ways to potentially scale into the later game. New itemization options and better ability to engage his opponents at close range. So, what they pretty much did there is they're making Taric just almost a true support. Like a true tanky support, rather. You know, he's gonna be on the same level as Alistar, pretty much. His base attack damage reduced to 57 from 62. Okay, not a big deal. Gemcraft, his passive, it's been remade. Taric's basic attacks deal bonus damage equal to 2% of his maximum mana. This bonus damage is doubled against champions. So items like Seraph's Embrace or Muramana will be very, very good for Taric. As well as just having a Tear of the Goddess, a Rod of Ages, you know, stuff like that. Shatter. Passive armor or adjusted to 12% of Taric's armor from 10, 15, 20, 25, and 30 armor, but Taric's self-armor bonus remains at the 10, 15, 20, 25, and 30. Active damage is now additionally scales with 30% of Taric's armor. So think of it like Malphite's Ground Slam. That's pretty good. Or the scaling, at least, is pretty good. The mana cost reduced to 50 at all ranks instead of 50, 65, or 50, 60, 70, 80, and 90. So I'll just be able to cast that more often. And Dazzle mana cost reduced to 75 from 95. Again, he'll be able to cast that more often and just be able to stay in lane more often and heal more often. As I said with Tristana, they, buffed her AP, or not her AP, her attack speed per level. Tryndamere. These changes preserve the intended gameplay and counterplay of Bloodlust by forcing AP Tryndamere build up Fury before being able to fully take advantage of his heal. Using Bloodlust at 100 Fury will result in the same 1.5 AP ratio as before the patch. So, pretty much they just nerfed AP Tryndamere a little bit. That's all. Vayne. These changes help alleviate some of the higher pressures of playing Vayne by allowing her more liberal use of Tumble and Condemn. They increased her mana per level from 27 to 35. That's good. About, what is that, about 8 extra mana. That's good. And Tumble mana cost reduced to 30 from 40. Again, does exactly as said. They want her to be able to use her Condemn and Tumble more liberally and more freely. V. These changes reduce her early jungle presence by slowing down her clearing speed. We reintroduced counterplay to Vault Breaker by rewarding opponents for interrupting her while she is charging up. Her base attack damage reduced by 4, not a big deal. Vault Breaker. Vault Breaker now goes on a 3-second cooldown and refunds half the mana cost when interrupted instead of fully refreshing the cooldown and refunding 100% of the mana cost. So she still gets everything, well, she still gets some back, just not everything. And denting blows, the damage has been reduced to 4, 5.5, 7, 8.5, and 10% maximum health from 6, 7, 8, 9, 10%. So early levels it does less, maximum level it does, the same. Not a big deal. Xinhao, they completely, let's just read it. These changes reduce Xinhao's ability to stick to his target in early engagements and reduce his burst damage, especially when building purely defensive items. Meaning, if he's building, Warmogs, Merc Treads, the, Runic Bulwark, stuff like that, he doesn't have as much damage as he did previously. Audacious Charge. Damage reduced to 70, 105, 140, 175, 210 from 70, 110, 150, 190, 230. Again, they just reduced the damage, and the cooldown increased to 14, 13, 12, 11, 10 from 13, 12, 11, 10, 9. So it has a 1 second longer cooldown at all levels. That is good. That is one thing that was needed. Crescent Sweep. Base damage reduced to 75, 175, 275 from 125, 225, 325. So now it goes up by 100 still, but it just does less damage overall, about 75 less damage per level. Wait, let me see if I did that right. 30... No, I'm sorry, 50 damage per level. So it was a needed nerf. And cooldown increased to 120, 110, 100 seconds from 190, 80. So it has a longer cooldown no matter what level and all that fun jazz. Zed, Razor Shuriken. Actually, these changes differentiate Razor Shuriken as a higher risk reward alternative to Shadow Slash. Razor Shuriken damage increased to 75, 115, 155, 195, 235 from 75, 110, 145, 180, 215. Again, that higher risk reward. Shadow Slash, the damage was reduced to 60, 90, 120, 150, 180 from 60, 95, 130, 165, 200. Again, it's not that big of a deal. Big thing right here, Warmog, passive health regen reduced to 1% of maximum health per 5 seconds from 1.5%. That's pretty huge. That hopefully will prevent people from building just straight up Warmogs. Blightwater Cutlass, or Blightwater Cutlass, however you want to pronounce it. They wanted to be... these changes make it a better early pickup item for champions who want to utilize its unique active. Recipe changed: Longsword plus Vampiric Scepter plus 200 gold, 14, overall 1400 gold. The attack damage reduced to 25 from 40. Okay, that was kind of needed. Lifesteal increased by 2% from 10 to 12. Okay, that's good. The damage reduced by 50 from 150 to 100. Okay. The slow reduced to 25% from 30%. Okay, that's still good. And the active range increased to 500 from 400. So ranged ADCs, range ADCs like Ashe, Tristana, and Teemo, Varus, all those champions can still use it, and it will be as effective as it was previously, and they wouldn't be in as much danger. But the cooldown has also been increased from 290 seconds from 60. Not a big deal. And Blade of the Rune King, right here. These changes make Blade of the Rune King a more universally useful item for attack damage champions and allow it to better fulfill its role in the arsenal as an item to combat high health targets. Recipe was changed. Dagger, or 2 daggers and the Blightwater Cutlass plus 625 gold. It's a total of 2,850, which I believe previously was 2,975. So about a 75 gold nerf. Attack damage reduced to 30 from 45. Okay, whatever. But now grants 40% attack speed. That is pretty big. Like, that is really big. Lifesteal now increased to 15% from 10%. Alright, good. Another thing that was almost needed. Unique passive. Adjusted to deals 5% of the target's current health and bonus physical damage at max 90 versus minions and monsters on hit. Unique active deals 15% of the target's 15% of the target champion's maximum health as physical damage. Minimum of 100, heals the same amount as dealt, steals 30% of their movement speed for 4 seconds on a 60-second cooldown, and has a 60-second has a active range increase of 500 from 400. So overall, it will help against the high health targets such as Cho'Gath, Vladimir, Singed, but still, still be useful versus anybody, really. And then the last thing I want to talk about here is the new pings. They talked about this in the patch preview. They'll probably be able to explain it better than me, so you should probably check that out. They now have 4 new pings in the game in a radial menu, kind of like how the system works in, say, Smite or Dota 2, where it's like, hey, top missing, bottom missing, stuff like that. And it'll actually put a ping on the map. They have their own sound effects, and some of them actually have, they have a little icon on the map for people that are in the lane to see what's going on. So say you're the jungle and you put down the on my way ping to bottom, it'll show bottom that you pinged there, that you're on your way, and it'll show them almost how far away you are, and actually show them kind of where you are in orientation to where the ping is. So say you ping the tri-bush at bottom to go ahead and gank behind the tower at bottom, it will actually show them, if you're at your base or something, it'll show them the direction you're in versus the ping. That's really good. So those are just some of the changes. Again, listen to the patch preview, go watch it, because they'll explain it better than I can. But as a commentator, as a player, all of these things are really, really good. I can't wait to see them all in play. And that is it, guys. My name has been Shadowswolm. Hopefully you all enjoyed the video. Don't forget to click the annotation leading you to the patch preview, because again, they will be able to explain it better than me. And I will talk to you guys next time.